What is up, beautiful people? I'm going to show you how to use Claude Cowork to set up a project for copywriting better marketing emails. If you just learn this 2-skill, 1 automation system, you can set up this kind of pipeline for any kind of copywriting, whether it's video scripts, blog posts, tweets. So by the end, you'll probably have a repo that looks something like this on my screen. I'll give you a quick tour. Essentially, you're going to have a skill for creating emails and a skill for updating the rules for writing emails. Then you're going to have a single automation that runs every day and makes those rules for writing emails better based on what you did the day before. Okay, so we're gonna go open the Claude app and go to Claude Cowork. We're gonna click New Project. I'm gonna click Use an Existing Folder. You can create a new folder, but I just had one made, and I'm gonna click Create. The first step is to get those editorial rules locked down. So what are some things that when you write, you always need to check for in your marketing emails or whatever it is that you're writing? So I'll just say, interview me about the editorial rules I use for writing marketing emails for my energy drink brand, Billy Energy. We're going to use that to write editorial rules.md markdown file to help us draft better emails. So I'm just having Claude email me about this. If you already know what you need, like I do, I would just go ahead and dictate in, say, write this. Here's some rules, like only use the first person, make sure it's always this word count, make sure it has this kind of spin text, those kinds of things that you always need to hit. You could also do what I did when I set mine up and drag in a bunch of example copy that you are proud of and say, all right, extract the editorial rules from these. That's also a good starting place. Let's go for hustlers and entrepreneurs as their target market. Let's do confident and witty. What point of view? I guess we asking me about subject line style. I'm just clicking stuff to 100 to 200 words. You could drop in what your CTAs are and what your product pages are that you always use for this step, because remember, we're going to create that skill next for drafting these emails. Marketing, yeah, definitely don't want health and medical claims. It's asking me a lot of really good brand questions here from my Madoff brand. Okay, great. And now we've got those editorial rules. I'm viewing them in Cursor, but I like day-to-day using Obsidian to edit these markdown files. It's a good text editor. Okay, the next step is going to be setting up that skill to draft emails. So we'll tell Claude, create a skill where I can prompt with an idea for an email, maybe focused on a promotion or a product launch or something. And then Claude will draft the first version of the email using our editorial rules. It will create a new folder for the email that's numbered and titled after the folder, after the email. It'll create a meta file that tracks that ID number, creation date, and the status of the email draft. It'll create 2 copies of the first draft. They'll be the same, but they'll be titled working draft and snapshot. The snapshot never changes. The working draft is what we'll work on when we're editing. Okay, I know that was long-winded, but this will be in our written guide if you want to copy and paste it. But hopefully you can see where I'm going with this. The problem that this solves is all the time when I'm editing stuff with AI, I'll ask it, wait, can you go back to da-da-da version? Or can you write to your memory what you learned from this? And it'll say, oh, well, I don't have that old version and I'm not exactly sure what we changed. This just is a fail-safe and it works. And you should say, I'm answering questions now on how to format this folder. I want you guys to see. We're going to put the emails in a sub draft folder. We're going to give 3 subject line options at the top. And this markdown file with the YAML front matter is just going to make it easier for Claude to read. Draft, editing, final, sent. I think those are good statuses. Okay, and you should see it creating the skill for you here. All right, Claude's building the skill and it's going to make us a draft email for us to test. And listen, we do it this way because yes, I could give you all the exact skill files and editorial rules and automation prompts and you copy and paste them in, but that actually it takes more time than just doing it yourself. It's kind of like doing a paint by number for like something that's really easy to paint, like a horse or something. Like you can just talk to Claude and it'll ask you these multiple choice questions based on what it knows about you. So you'll get better custom outcome than if you just copied all of these yourself. And I think just dictating into Claude is a lot easier than dragging and dropping around files. All right, this took so long. I do not understand why. I can see the skill here, but I'll just click save skill. Sure, create a draft email about a new product launch for like Purple Punch or something. Now we're going to use that skill just to create a draft email so we have something for the next one. The next skill is going to be that editorial rules updater. And the reason why the running editorial rules works is because you have a process set up to automatically extract the most important edit notes from work that you've already done, rather than every time you go to draft an email, Claude has to go look at all your past emails and try to extract what it did right and wrong, or just look at a static editorial rules file. It's like little by little, like every time you add a book to your bookshelf, writing a little summary of it versus trying to summarize 100 books at once. It makes sense to me. I know AI is a lot smarter than me, but this seems to work. Okay, we've got our first working draft and that snapshot file. That's perfect. I'm just going to make some kind of arbitrary edits here just for the purpose of this demo. Okay, now I've made some edits to the copy. I'm going to tell Claude, now create a skill for updating the editorial rules list based on the difference between the snapshot and the working draft. It should see what we changed in the working draft from the snapshot and use it to enhance existing editorial rules, remove editorial rules, or add new ones to the running list. If there's no takeaways from this draft, it doesn't have to change the editorial rules list. And I like that we start with just a source of truth, this ID number that's going to increment up. That's going to help you stay organized and have a nice little meta file that has that ID and the date and everything in there. It just helps you stay organized, and AI will do it for you. I'm going to say make me name the draft here. It's asking me because in the automation, we're going to say find the most recent one. We don't need a change log. We can use Git for that. I think conservative is fine on the changes. Okay. And it created the skill. Again, this took forever. I'm not sure why. It may be faster to do this setup in Claude Code, but I know people really like Claude Cowork. And now we can run that skill. Let's try run this skill on 001 email. And while that's running, we'll go do the last step, which is to go to scheduled, new task. We can set this up manually. You can ask Claude if you want, but editorial rules, update daily, update of our email drafting rules. And you can say, check the drafts folder for the oldest draft that's been marked as scheduled or sent, then use this skill. We'll put that skill in there by typing / and then finding it in the list on it. Then move the email draft folder into the archive folder. I like to have it move that folder when it's done. So we've already scheduled the email to send or it's sent. And so this one will move that out of there after it's done the last thing, which is extract those editorial rules from it. That way, when it runs the next day, it won't rerun on the same one and it won't run on something that's a live draft that we're working on. And I'm going to go Sonnet for this, save some tokens. Bang. We're going to save it. It's going to work beautifully. And we can see I forgot to save the changes I made. I forgot to save the changes. I just saved it. Now update the status of the email to scheduled and run the editorial rules skill. And I'll just make sure we have that folder archive. But probably a good idea to update that skill to tell it to move the email into the archive folder. But for now, it's just that instruction's in the automation. Okay, cool. So it found a new editorial rule to add to our list. And this is a good update. Like I thought this was bad copy that sounded like salesy, where it says we're not going to talk it up beyond that. And it correctly found out that these are like one-offs, and it updated the section on voice and tone. Okay, so now it should write 1% better emails tomorrow. If you want to go further, you can set up other automations to improve this kind of project. Once you have enough emails that you've worked on, you can try setting up an automation that just once a day takes a stab at drafting an email, and then you can go in and make your edits or just completely trash it. If you don't like or don't see the point of having this meta tracking file, you can tell Claude that you want yours to just have that at the top of your markdown file. You can make the status like checkboxes at the bottom, like draft, approved, scheduled, sent. That might be easier. That way you don't have to remember what to put in here. I would add in a separate reference file that's just got like lists of your product pages, anything else important for Claude to write those call to actions in your email. And the most important thing is I would try using this system for like 2 weeks and see what you like and what you don't like about it. Then go to Claude and tell it like, hey, I'm frustrated. I find myself not using this, and see if it can improve your system. Everyone works a little bit differently, but the goal of Rundown University is to help you guys figure out what works best for you and give you the systems to enable you to do that. So that's it for today's guide. If you like this, let us know in the community. As always, I'm Billy from the Rundown University. Stay frosty and peace.